back to another kitchen table wargaming battle report. This is going to be a combat patrol battle report, so both of these armies are going to be 500-point patrols, no more and no less. We're playing an Eternal War mission from the Games Workshop 40,000 or 40K rulebook, core rulebook. This one is only war, so there are 4 objective markers that get placed. You actually do a roll-off for this to start placing objective markers. Definitely different from the tournament series, and you place each objective marker has to be more than 6 inches from any table edge and cannot be closer than 9 inches to any other objective marker on the table. The way you score points is you will get a point for slaying the enemy warlord, and you will also gain a point at the end of every command phase for the objectives that you control at that time. So this battlefield should look somewhat familiar, as we had a battle that happened here between the Drukhari and the Grey Knights in a recent battle report. It did not go well for the Grey Knights. What has happened is the prognosticators back on Titan are still hearing some echoes, some kind of thing going on in the warp. They can't quite figure out what it is, but they believe that it has to do with the war gear that was left behind from the strike squad that was slaughtered here mercilessly by the Drukhari. And they think that they've narrowed it down to this particular part of the planet, and they've sent a small patrol force to come in to try to arrive secretly, undetected, and to locate the source of this disturbance in the warp. And the Grey Knights have arrived on planet. They believe that the central large mound that looks like rock is actually holding whatever it is, that there's an entrance to it that they have yet to discover. And so they're here trying to find the entrance to this place and to find out what it is that's causing this disturbance. And we'll come back in just a minute to meet the patrols, and then we'll get this game underway. Leading up the Grey Knight patrol is a brother captain with his nemesis hammer, also a brotherhood champion. And then we have for our troops an 8-man squad of strike marines. And then we also brought a heavy support team. After the last experience here on this planet with the Drukhari, we felt the need to have some extra firepower. 3 silencers and 1 side cannon in this purgation squad. And that brings us to a total of 499 points. And also, the Brotherhood champion has the relic blade, the blade of the Forsworn, which is really good against demons, but it's also quite good against just about anything else. It gives a +1 strength, has extra AP, and does flat 3 damage. And the brother captain, is the warlord, and he has the first to the fray warlord trait. So he's rerolling failed charges, or anybody within 6 inches of him will reroll failed charges. For the Drukhari, we have 2 5-man squads of racks. These racks in the front have a hex rifle and an ossifactor in them. The squad of racks in the back is just plain no fun extra things added to them racks. You have the homunculus. He is the warlord for the Drukhari. He has the diabolical soothsayer trait, so he'll regenerate D3 extra command points at the start of the game and can reroll a failed hit, wound, or saving throw for himself each turn for free. And then we have Drazar, the Master of Blades, who is also here, the second in command, leading a 5-man squad of incubi. There is a raider. Somebody is going to be inside that raider, and they will do tricky, nasty things, I'm sure. And last but not least, the homunculus has the Vexator mask for his relic. So in combat, he gets to choose who has to fight last for that turn, regardless of who is charged. And that is your 500 points of Drukhari. The forces have been deployed. The Grey Knights have been approaching cautiously and quietly through the planet, and they are in range of this monolithic thing, rock tower in the center. And they are actually back again because they've already fought the Drukhari on this planet one time in a recent battle report that you may have seen, a 2,000-point strike force mission where the Grey Knights were soundly defeated. The Grey Knights had received intel leading them to believe that this planet with its runes and strange rock formations was a chaos-tainted planet, and upon their arrival, they were outwitted and outsmarted and thrashed by the Drukhari, who came in to protect this planet of theirs. It was, as they discovered later, actually a treasure planet for the Drukhari to store hidden resources, gems, treasures, things that they've stolen from other people, and to protect it from other denizens of their city, the dark city of the Dark Eldar, Kamara. So, the Drukhari are here. They learned their lesson. They've kept a patrolling. The Grey Knights stealthily inserted themselves and have made their way towards this central location on the planet. And the prognosticators only sent this patrol back to this planet because there have been some strange echoes coming from the warp from here after the last defeat of the strike squad. And the prognosticators believe that the Dark Eldar are tampering with some of the leftover weapons and armor from that original force. So this patrol is here to reclaim whatever it is that the Dark Eldar have stolen from us. And they believe it is located here in this central location. So we're about to have the roll off to see who goes first. Whether or not the Grey Knights have been successful in sneaking is about to be revealed. It does look like the Grey Knights were not. That white die would be for the Grey Knights, the purple die for the Dark Eldar. So the Dark Eldar are going to have turn 1. Let's see what happens. The trap has been sprung. The Dark Eldar knew that the Grey Knights had landed all along. And let's see what they can do to try to foil this combat patrol. The Drukhari forces quickly move forward with these racks advancing 3 inches to get in range of that objective marker. Homunculus kind of splitting the difference between the 2 squads of racks, so currently both squads are receiving a +1 toughness from his aura. The Raider moved forward, but did not want to land too much farther. It could have landed here with its 14-inch move, but that would have put it in a little bit closer, about a 7-inch charge after these guys moved. So they backed up a little bit. The Ossifactor took a shot and missed. Then the Raider took some shots with a disintegrator cannon, managed to kill 1 strike marine. That's the end of the turn. So we will come back after the Grey Knights have done their movement. And we're back. The Grey Knights have moved. They did their psychic phase. These guys cast Astral Aim on themselves for obvious reasons, ignoring line of sight. Then we spent 2 command points to give them boosted ammunitions for their psi weapons, and we spent an additional command point for them to hit on 2s because they had not moved instead of 3s. So that was kind of tasty, and they destroyed the Raider. Boom, 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 just like that. The Raider did not explode, but 2 of the incubi died in the resulting death of the Raider. So that was helpful. Over here, the brother captain hit everything, but didn't wound because of that +1 toughness on the racks. The strike squad did actually kill 2 racks with their shooting. Over here, the Brotherhood champion did not do any damage with his bolter either. He also cast the Vortex of Doom onto this squad of racks here in the back, which they ignored with Power from Pain. So the poor Brother champion tried to make a charge, failed, command point rerolled it, still failed. So he's sitting out here in the back, and it'll be the turn of the Drukhari to answer what I'm sure was a slightly surprising first turn coming from the Grey Knights. The Drazar has his target in mind, but he and the Incubi disembarked to be out of line of sight from the strike squad as they had not fired yet. So we'll come back at the end of the movement and we'll see what's going on here. Turn 2 coming up. Okay, end of the turn. Drazar and the Incubi made it into combat. You'll see that there's an empty spot where the strike marines used to be. And Drazar, after finishing off the last strike squad member, realized that he was pretty exposed if he sat there because this squad of Purgators would have deleted him instantly in the next round of shooting. So he went ahead and consolidated into the captain, leaving the brother captain the opportunity to hit him, which he did, and he only got 1 wound through that Drazar failed to save. So he took 3 wounds, knocking him down to 2 wounds remaining. And over here, this homunculus moved up to stay with the racks, because it helps make them a little harder to kill, and it makes him a little farther away from the Mr. Brotherhood champion, who's all the way back here now. And it's going to have to go pretty far to make it into combat with anyone. These racks, likewise, they also backed up. So they are still within 3 of the objective, but they're as far away as they can get from Mr. Champion over here. They don't want to play any games with that. So we will go into Grey Knight's turn 2, and we'll see what can be done with this little mess of, well, everything that the Incubi just made out of the Strike Squad. As expected, the Purgation Squad quickly removed the Incubi. There was a thought to possibly not kill all the Incubi so they could be charged and then consolidate into that objective. But it seemed more appropriate to just get rid of them. Oh, and Drazar was killed by Smite from the Brother Captain and Smite from the Purgation Squad. So they had to move a little so they could still have line of sight on the Incubi and anything else downfield to shoot at, because they used their 1 psychic spell to do a Smite. So they removed the last 2 wounds off of Drazar, killed him, removed the Incubi. This squad got some shots shot at them, but no wounds were done by the Brother Champion. Brother Champion did make his charge over here. He cast a Vortex of Doom that killed 1 rack, and then he was able to kill another rack in shooting. Oh, sorry, he shot at the other squad. He didn't shoot anyone. He killed the other 2 in combat. They were not able to make their saves. So 2 racks down over here. No more were affected over here, and then the Incubi and Drazar are gone. So we're going to move on into turn 3 for the Drukhari. It's a pretty good return swing by the Grey Knights. So we're going to see who has enough left to get through the rest of this game. End of Drukhari turn 3. Brother Captain got shot a couple of times, took 3 wounds, so he's down to 3 remaining. That was about all that happened. Oh, also, the racks used black cornucopians and brought this squad back to full strength. Mr. Homunculus was feeling a little nervous, so he wanted 5 racks at T5 with 4 up invols to protect him, because he knows that the hurt is coming. And over here, unfortunately, 4 up saves are pretty useful. So this guy did a lot of hits, did a lot of wounds. They saved all of it. They smacked him back, but poison weapons just aren't great against a 2 up save. So nothing happened there in the short and long of the story there. Long and short of the story. Woohoo! And then we will come back with Grey Knight's turn 3. End of turn 3. Mr. Brother Captain cast Armored Resilience on himself, and then the Purgation Squad spent a command point in order to cast Gate of Infinity. So the captain jumped over here to be in this corner, actually to be in the center by the objective, close enough to make a charge. They did a lot of shooting with what could see into these guys, which, interestingly, before they consolidated and piled in, there was only 1 Purgator that could see, 2, that could see on the edge here, and they were able to kill 2 of the racks with shooting. Then the Brother Captain made his charge with First to the Fray. He killed another in combat, so they're down to 2. Over here, the Brother Champion killed a rack with a Smite, then he killed another in the fight phase. They still have not wounded him, and that is where we stand. So the racks still control these 2 objectives here, so they're going to go up by another 2 points, so it's going to be 5 points to 1. Drukhari to the Grey Knights. Oh, excuse me, 4 points to 2. I was looking at the command points. So we'll see. There's not a lot of bodies left, but if the Grey Knights can finish killing off the troops, then it'll be a lot easier to score points. So turn 4. There's only 2 turns left for the Grey Knights to pull this out. And right now, the Drukhari have tricks. Let's see if they can stay alive. It's been short and sweet. The Drukhari did spend 2 command points for this squad of racks to be fully reinvigorated. However, they were not able to make their charge to get back into combat, which would have been nice just because they would have held that objective again and would have helped with the scoring purposes. But it does mean that there's a whole nother squad of racks to get through, and they will make a charge in if the brother captain's still around. I mean, the brother champion's there. Over here, this combat, nothing happened. So it will continue. The brother captain, excuse me, my names are getting mixed up. It's going to continue to do what he does. The homunculus is staying behind the racks, not intervening because he doesn't want to give up Slay the Warlord. And although he might be able to do some work in combat, it seems like turn 4 was a little too soon. So we'll see what happens. Turn 5, he might go ahead and do it just to try to finish off the Grey Knights Warlord. But the Grey Knights Warlord is pretty resilient himself, although he is wounded. So we'll see what happens. We'll come back at the end of this phase. That was an epic turn by the Grey Knights. This Purgation squad cast Astral Aim, so they were able to see through and ignore line of sight. All of them were in range of the homunculus right here, except for the guy with the Storm Bolter. The homunculus was only hiding behind 2 racks, and so he was able to be targeted by the Purgation squad. That was a mental mistake there. Then the Brotherhood champion moved from over there to here so that he was just a little closer to the squad of racks that came in with the Black Cornucopians than he was to this group over here. So he cast a Vortex of Doom. He cast it on an 11, which with Grey Knights +1 equals a 12, and that makes it a super vortex. And then he rolled a 6 for the mortal wounds. So the squad of 5 racks took 6 mortal wounds, and they ignored 1 with Power of Pain. Well, it means that 5 went through, 5 racks died, deleted, psychic death. Then over here, the brother captain did a smite. That one was ignored, ironically. So the racks stayed there. Then in the shooting, I already discussed the shooting. So then the brother champion made the charge right in here to the racks, and he very quickly dispatched the last 2 racks by himself before the brother captain had a chance to do anything about it. So that leaves, with the Slay the Warlord and the points that were being held, the Grey Knights were at 6. They were down 5-6. However, this is the end of turn 4. So with 1 more turn to score, the Grey Knights would achieve 2 more points, and they would win the game 7-6, making it a nail biter. And of course, the real objective is they were able to get inside, break open this monolithic structure, and retrieve the some of the precious weapons and relics that had been stolen in the last battle. And that being said, the remaining captain, Brotherhood champion, and the Purgation squad got back into their transport and fled the scene, leaving only dead bodies behind and no evidence other than that they were ever there. Victory, Grey Knights.